Unleash the power!
Ugh, what is with these villains becoming little goody two-shoes?
Now, where were we? After a classic redemption arc, I became Dino Charge Dark Ranger.
Many villains were originally on the good side. Today, right here on Rated Exploited, I have come to commemorate the Ranger redemptions throughout the 30-year span of the franchise. The legend himself, most iconic Ranger, favorite amongst the original fans. As displayed throughout the 30-year run, Tommy started out as a good guy before Rita Repulsa's corruption. He became our first taste of a Ranger on the side of evil. Tommy proves to be a match-making adversary. I am especially a fan to episode 49, making his return by popular demand. Return of an Old Friend, Part 1 and 2, really pushes the limits of the Rangers. We witness reciprocated sacrifice, not only between Rangers, but Zordon as well. For all he has done for them, it's only right for the Rangers to return in their own favor. Tommy is our first Ranger to delve between hero and villain, guilt-stricken by his instrumental role of Rita Repulsa. The original team does not vanquish an enemy, but liberates a friend. Ryan Mitchell. Dang, I didn't think Lightspeed Rescue would live up to the magnitude of Lost Galaxy. If I had been told Go-Go 5 only has 5 suits, I would have been in disappointment that there would be no 6th Ranger. And what is a season without a 6th Ranger?
I'm your worst nightmare.
And Saban felt the same way, creating our first official American Power Ranger. Ryan is introduced in a diabolical flashback, looking at the sacrifice of his father and the price to pay for keeping him alive. Nurtured as a human amongst demonic forces, Ryan knows nothing more than the side of evil. In belief, his actual father played favorites between him and Dana, with each of his scenes being shot in-house right here on the American shoreline. Your backstory, your redemption. Dominate in titanium armor.
3. Who would become? Power Rangers, go! Ninja Storm! Let's go!
Let us streak ahead into the Disney era. Our first season to introduce a duo of Rangers, Crimson and Navy. How appropriate of Blake and Hunter to introduce themselves from a distance, engineering from the shadows before revealing themselves to the Wind Rangers, spying on the trio as a pair of bikers to exploit the Rangers' weaknesses, only to shamefully realize the villainy of Lothor. Guilt becomes rectified in Return of Thunder, when they officially redeem themselves, joining with their true allies. In my absolute honesty, I prefer the duo as enemies. Essentially, they are a dark counterpart to the Rangers, empowering in battle, deceptively undermining the Wind Ninja Academy. Yes, you are my favorite villains within Ninja Storm. Magna Defender, out of the shadows into elite status. Scorpius, his followers, indeed your enemy. Why are you against the Rangers? Oh yes, selfish revenge, sealed away for 3,000 years. That sounds familiar.
I have been awakened to carry out 3,000 years of vengeance.
Magna Defender proves to be an obscure character that neither fan or Ranger understands. It is the mystery of this new character that heightens every sense of curiosity. You attack the forces of Scorpius. You are against the Rangers. Who are you? Who do you live for? What revenge motivates your actions? Only through empathy and ultimate sacrifice do you establish your role and atone through redemption. When Heckle was introduced, he granted the impression that there is more to his villainous role, perhaps an in-depth backstory. It turns out I was correct, and expanding not only in the following season, but into the finale of Cosmic Fury. Heckle and his alter ego Snide have laid waste to many planets throughout multiple galaxies. Only when attempting to take down Lord Arcanon does Heckle begin to regain his memories, before interacting with the Dark Energem. With Heckle now established as a victimized villain, his redemption proved inevitable, progressing into the finale of Dino Supercharge. For his empathetic rediscovery, he joins the Rangers in their battle against Sledge, a redemption arc coming to full fruition in the 30th season, teaming up with the Cosmic Fury Rangers against Lord Zed. By the way, your Dark Ranger attire is my favorite amongst the Dino Charge design. Merrick, thank you for defeating Master Org. Thank you for donning the evil wolf mask, creating my #1 Ranger villain. I also went over Zenaku in my Halloween video from last year, my favorite Ranger villains. For today's video, I'll focus specifically on Merrick and the redemption he pulled off. Guilt-stricken, knowing his actions has afflicted the current-day Rangers. Through strategic discipline, after regaining his memory, he channels his anger, his regret, into fighting the Quadra Org. Through recognized, atoning effort, the Red Lion Zord calls forth the Dark Zords, granting him the Lunar Collar. With his new armor, Merrick continues carrying the guilt he has toward his fellow warriors of the past, and the Wild Force Rangers of the current era. But through his valiant actions, forgiveness is achieved. Going into Jungle Fury, what can I expect? Can I hope for an improvement over Operation Overdrive? To summarize and conclude my experience, Jungle Fury is an elite Power Rangers season. And I give thanks to everyone behind the scenes and right there on set with RJ. This character, this mentor, this Ranger, carries the magnitude of this season. He did not start out as evil, but conflicted. His wolf spirit manifesting into a werewolf, diverting from his father's influence, losing his family connection, and by instinctual action, he refrains from burdening his fellow Rangers, culminating in a most favorite line from the franchise.
Well, maybe next time you have a problem, you will run to your friends instead of away from them.
Delivered by none other than Fran. I had to include RJ for more than being a most favorite character. It's the fact that he didn't overcome being evil like many other Rangers, but rather his own struggle and doubt. Something far more relatable to his friends and even us fans. How appropriate that you gain the courage of a wolf.
With the courage of a wolf! Jungle Fury! Wolf Ranger!
SPD, kicking off with an elite suit design. We are introduced in the first episode to the Ranger's mentor, the last survivor of the planet Sirius. As commander, he totally achieves the role of supporting character, not only instructing the Rangers, but being a great influence for everyone. His character arc begins in Shadow Part 1. We witness him experiencing flashbacks of the final battle. Many close-ups of the animatronic head display his emotions. This pair of episodes are filmed in a very unique style. Perfect lighting, depicting Anubis Kruger struggling with his warfaring flashbacks. This episode duo is truly about him dealing with his past. We witness the challenge in his role, the suffering and loss he has endured. and his vow to never again strike in anger. I begin to catch on once Cat Manx presents him with a gift encased in silver. General Banag builds up tension, capturing Cat, practically making Kruger relive losing his wife on Syrian, anticipating this is yet another cruel trap. Under this alien and familiar pressure, the B Squad confront him, acknowledging that he's losing it. The definition of redemption, the act of redeeming or atoning for a fault or mistake. And this dog dominates his arc within SPD. What he has lost and the guilt accumulated has only made him stronger.
You have taken what was dearest to me, Banag, but that has only made me stronger. I am Shadow Ranger. Here!
Now for a character with the anger and the ego to attract the influence of the big bad, Pai Shua's Jared, also known as Dai Shi. I also covered him in my most favorite villains video. Link is below in the description. In a similar fashion to another prevalent villain in the franchise, spans the entirety of Jungle Fury. By the spirit of Dai Shi, the Black Lion warrior armor, and the portrayal of Bede Skinner, this iconic villain is the perfect counterpart to RJ. One vicious villain, one influential mentor in a single season. Jared is not alone in redemption, as Camille begins developing feelings for him, leading in to her own atonement. The season truly climaxes when Casey is alone in his faith that Jared can be saved, unleashed from the possession of Dai Shi. This remains one of the few examples where the Rangers and the villains share a direct past. A season that began with rivalry, ending with empathy. We are now in the final entry of this rated exploited endeavor. Who can I select in Supreme Ranger Redemption? It was hard enough putting these in order of interpretive impact, but I have chosen a character arc, not only iconic, but a symbol of significance for the franchise. This character is the first of their kind, setting a new level in comparison to their seasonal predecessors.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rangers in space!
This villain I herald in triumphant redemption is none other than Astronoma. She is the first human boss, kidnapped by Darkonda and nurtured on the side of evil by Ecliptor. I chose her as number 1. For the contributional role of initiating Power Rangers in space as the Goldfinger of the franchise. Prior to 1998, Power Rangers built off a Monster of the Week formula, introducing new heroes, new villains, and an arsenal to base toys on. But I will always describe space with one simple sentence. It's about a woman discovering her humanity for the very first time. Not only does this season unravel the past of the Red Ranger and main villain, concluding the Zordon era carries over into the succeeding season. Caron's efforts earn her the bestowal of the Galaxy Morpher, becoming the second Pink Ranger. This is by far the dominating example of villain into Ranger. 3 identities, 2 astronomical seasons, 1 phenomenal Ranger arc. Thank you, Ranger fans, for joining here on Rated Exploited. My name is Rokalai. I have multiple videos right here on the channel, Ranger related to my fascination of Bionicle. I upload each Saturday evening right here on YouTube. We are 600 subscribers strong and 1 year away from the Hasbro reboot. Be sure to use your time wisely. Make it more phenomenal.